Welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs go all in on their business, and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. Today, we have a very special guest. Larry, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Roderick.
Good. Please introduce yourself and the name of your business.
So I'm Larry Grawey. My wife and I own a franchise in Dream Vacations.
Okay.
So Larry and Jennifer Grawey and Associates is our LLC, but we do have a franchise in Dream Vacations.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself. And Larry, we understand that time is one of our most valuable resources. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh, man, my journey. So we've only owned our franchise for about 2 years.
Okay.
So we're a couple years into our travel franchise. But we've traveled for years, and we've always taken people with us when we travel. I believe that the best thing we can do in our life is make memories.
Yes.
And so rather than invest in a bunch of stuff, we invested in making memories.
Okay.
So we took our kids on cruises. We traveled across the country. We did all those things, and then we'd invite people on that journey with us. And we realized a few years ago when we were looking for another way to kind of move into this part of our lives, travel was natural fit.
Okay.
And we'd actually looked at it several years before that. A part of that journey is I've been a pastor for about 30 years.
Okay.
We've started our own church. Everything we've done, we've started.
Yes.
So we started our church in Kennesaw about 12 years ago.
Okay.
Still pastor that church. I give about 70% of my time to Dream Vacations. We believe in a model that we don't live off of the income of the church. We serve the community with the church, and so we fund ourselves in other ways. That's another reason why we bought our franchises. We just see pastoring a church being differently. We see pastoring a community, so we love on the city of Kennesaw a lot. So heavily involved in that, and I'm trying to summarize that journey because it's been an interesting one. Was a part of the founding of Faith Bridge Foster Care several years ago. Okay. So a lot of that entrepreneurial mindset is ingrained in me. Everything that we've done, even in the church world, everywhere we went, we started something new. Yes.
Now, being a pastor, a leader in the community is a big thing. So I'm going to, ask a few questions about that. Was it where being a pastor was in your family? Was it like your granddad, your dad, or is it one time something happened and you led yourself to lead the people by being a pastor? Tell us about that.
That's a loaded question. So yes, my grandfather was a pastor.
Okay.
But my mom and most of his kids just ran from God for years. Okay. So I didn't find myself in church until after my grandfather had died. And then next thing I knew, my mom was like full on back in church.
Yes.
And so I was probably 10. 11 years old. And so I didn't really grow up in a church environment until really my middle school years. Okay. And my personal journey, I ran from God myself. It wasn't until I was 18 that I'm like, okay, if I continue down the road that I'm going, this isn't going to be good. And that's when I committed myself to Jesus and shifted my life. Okay. My passion is people. Okay. It's not even being a pastor. I don't even introduce myself as a pastor most of the time. You wanted me to share my journey. It's how I got here.
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't introduce myself because I want to walk away from every interaction as friend.
Yes.
So I care more about Roderick than I do telling you that I'm a pastor or even that I'm a travel advisor or those things, because I feel like if I could get to know you, if what I do serves you, fine. If not, I want to lift you up and help you get to where you need to go. Okay. That's the driving force of what we do.
Yes.
Even with the travel industry, I want people to take amazing vacations. Yeah, we need to make money at it, but I want people to be able to go do something maybe they didn't think they could do and find ways to do it and help them to take those things. And then that funds us to be able to go do other things to help other people and to serve our community better.
Yes. Hey, and I like to stay in that particular zone, because I grew up in church as well. So, I know all about it. Believe it or not, people ask me, when am I going to be a pastor? And I'm still running like you were earlier. But as you are providing your service, I'm sure there's different missions that you've had to do in the past. What would you say was one of your favorite missions that you provided service for?
Are you thinking about like missions trips?
Yeah,
or...
like a trip. Yep, yep.
So now with our company, we haven't serviced a lot of missions trips yet. We have a couple places that are interested in that, but I have been on missions trips. Probably my favorite one was to Haiti.
Okay.
I think it was back in 2016 when with a group, actually 3 churches came together. We went over to Haiti and spent a week in a part of Haiti that a lot of people don't know about. It was about 3 hours from Port-au-Prince.
Okay.
Down in a little place called La Caille or Gelée Beach.
Okay.
And just a phenomenal experience of seeing people that have really nothing, because if you know anything about Haiti, it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
Okay. No.
It is, literally, you go to Port-au-Prince, and a lot of people knew it because of the earthquake several years ago. U.S. and other countries poured a lot of support into it. Well, they didn't have the resources to even deal with trash.
Okay.
So you'd walk around Port-au-Prince, and there'd be 10, 15-foot section of sidewalk where trash is burning because they didn't know what else to do with it.
Yeah.
So they just burned it. You'd go out. We went out on a boat ride, and we were by the beach, and beautiful beaches. If you've ever been that part of the Caribbean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And you go out about 100 yards, and there's just trash bags dropped in the water.
Okay.
Because they didn't know what to do with it.
Yes.
Pigs and other animals just rooting through all the trash that where a beach would normally be, where we, in our minds, we go up to this just pristine beach, was covered in trash.
Okay.
Crystal clear water, but it would be covered in trash because they didn't have the resources. The Western world came in and said, hey, we're going to give you all this stuff. We don't know what to do with it.
Yes.
Now, on the flip side of that, we were doing medical missions. We were there with church, but we were doing medical missions. And we were taking an ultrasound machine to a church in the mountains that didn't have roads. So we had to hike up a trail up this side of this little mountain. Not a big trail. It was probably about a 30-minute hike.
Okay.
We had suitcases full of rice and medical equipment and all kinds of things. And people were going to come as far as 2 hours away to come to this church to get medical treatment.
Okay.
Especially an ultrasound machine, which was unheard of for them.
Down there, yeah.
And so we're hiking up there, and we're carrying these big suitcases and all these. And we got all these people from Georgia that are trying to climb up this mountain, and some of them are struggling. I hike a lot.
Okay.
No big deal for me.
Yes.
I hike a lot. We're carrying this stuff, and these ladies come down. And they're in their dresses. They're in dress shoes, flat dress shoes, with those, those hard soles. They're in those. They grabbed those bags, threw them on their head, and scooted up the side of that mountain.
Right.
When we got to the top, they gave us everything they had. They wanted to share everything. It was as if we were royalty coming in, and they wanted to give us everything they had, and so much joy in their lives.
Right.
And I think that's something we miss in our culture. We're always chasing, well, I won't say all of us, but some of us are chasing what other people have.
Yes.
And so we're discontent. We look and say, well, that person has this. That person, look, I do recording stuff. I'm looking at your studio. I'm going, dude, man, there's things in here I wish I had.
Okay.
I can look at that, and I can say, well, man, I don't have that. I could be discontent in that. And that makes me, it may make me hungry to chase for it, but for other people, it becomes a place of anxiety. Like, I'm always chasing something I'm never attaining. I'm always looking at what somebody else has and going, man, it's kind of like buying that new car, and you're looking and you see everybody that's got that same car, and you have it for about 6 months, and you're like, you see another car drive by, and you're like, man, you're kind of like, I kind of like that one. And we become discontent with where we're at. I think what really hit me about Haiti was the people, especially the people up at that church and the people that were coming for that medical care. There was so much joy. We're walking by lean-to houses, and they're wanting to invite us in to eat the food that they have.
Yes.
And they're sharing it with joy. And I think that's an element that we miss, that if we don't take trips like that, if we don't see cultures in a different lens, that's one of the other reasons I love travel. I love to see different cultures. I don't like the tourist stuff. I like to see the different cultures.
Yeah.
Because it helps us appreciate what we have and also put things in the right perspective.
Right, right. Makes a lot of sense because as you mentioned, you went down there to help them and they were trying to do all they could to help you while you were there.
Missions trips are not for the people you go to serve. They're really for the people that are going.
Yes.
Now, we do some good things, man. You dig wells, you build buildings, you do things. It does help. But really, it changes those of us that serve
Yes.
far more than it changes them.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I definitely appreciate it. And as we try to get to the timeline of where you are with Dream Vacations, I want to ask, what is it that made you land there? Because you had the opportunity, you know a lot of people, you've been serving for a long time, a lot of connections. What is it that made you say, okay, I'm going to burn my ship and go all in on this vacation business?
Well, let me give you my 10-year plan,
Okay.
10 to 15-year plan, really my end-of-life plan. 52.
Okay.
We started our church, like I said, 12 years ago. My goal over the next 5 years or so is to train leaders that take what I do in the community of Kennesaw, take our church, and take it to another level, run with it. I want to take my foot off that gas pedal.
Okay.
I want to be there as a parent, or maybe even later on as a grandparent to the next generation of leaders that are leading the church, because our church is unique. Before we came in here, you're talking about, hey, being the tip of the spear, blazing trails. We feel like in the Southeast, we're doing something that's unique in church because our church is not typical.
Okay.
We meet in a coffee shop. We have Play-Doh and crayons on every table. We have tables everywhere. And we integrate a very conversational thing. So I want to hand that off.
Okay.
And my wife and I were praying about what our next steps are. What can we do as a business to support ourselves as we move forward? So over the next 5 to 10 years, I want to take my foot off the pedal with the church and not be the driving force of it. We'll still be involved in it, but I don't want to be the driving force of it. As we grow our travel business, we're adding associates this year. We're growing that so that as we get closer to that retirement age, this is something we can do for as long as we want to.
Yes.
And we could do it from anywhere in the world. We grow the foundation. I could be sitting in London selling travel, servicing vacations from that are here or wherever I need to.
Yes.
And it opens up our lives for that last generation. I was also part of the writing team for a book called The Reimagined Church, which I've been asked to kind of help coach pastors through that. We're looking at church in the 21st century that's much different than what we currently have in the way we do church. So I will be coaching pastors along the way.
Okay.
Our travel business gives me the flexibility to do something that I love while funding something else that I'm passionate about.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does, because, I ask that question every time because something or some reason why entrepreneurs go into doing what it is, and that's why I wanted to see what was that. And again, it's another way for you to serve people, so that's just awesome. I definitely appreciate you sharing that. And now that we're here at Dream Vacations, tell us all about it. Tell us what it is that you are doing, who are you serving, who's your ideal client and a good referral partner for you?
That's a great question. So I like to explain what we do kind of like your independent insurance agent or a real estate broker. So Dream Vacations, being a franchise owner, we own our own business. We have our own thing. There's 2,200 Dream Vacation franchises across the country.
Okay.
So we have our own little space, but what we do, we are basically brokers of travel. We can book into just about any place that you would want to go for leisure travel. Could we do corporate travel? Sure. But really, leisure travel is what we're doing.
Okay.
So we can book into resorts. We can book into cruise lines. I leave tonight to go to Orlando, and I will be at a trade show conference, our conference with our Dream Vacation franchise holders, with Royal Caribbean, with Ama Waterways, with Rio Resorts. They're all going to be there sharing with us. Their BDMs will all be there, kind of building relationships with them. That's what we do.
Okay.
So that independent insurance agent can book you a policy in what they think best fits your family. Same thing for us. There's dozens of cruise lines, but based on what your family wants to do, I want to put you on this cruise line because I think this is going to fit your family and your budget the best.
Okay.
So that's our job, is to find that right vacation, or maybe it's a trip to Europe. We have tools to help us build that trip. Now, I realize some people like to build them themselves. That's part of the journey. The difference is when you use us, one, we don't cost any extra.
Okay.
We do have service fees occasionally if it is a trip that we're doing a lot of work that we don't get commission on.
Okay.
But we get paid by the resorts or by the companies that we use or the cruise lines. They're who pay us.
Okay. Okay.
They're the ones that pay ours, and not our customers. Very rarely do I ever do a service charge, and like I said, it's going to be if there's a lot of planning that I don't get a commission to, then we've got to redeem that time.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And so that's where a travel advisor can be there to kind of walk you through the steps to help you when, like, hey, for example, I mentioned it last week in a meeting, to travel to the European Union or the EU now. There is a new process. You have to apply before you go. It's not a visa, but you have to apply for this electronic registration so that when you get there, everywhere you go, when you stop through a border, the stamped passports are going to be going away. It's going to be facial recognition. You're going to walk up. You're going to already be in the system. They're going to say, yep, Roderick's good to go. He can go through, you know, any of those nearly 30 countries that are a part of the EU.
Yes.
London or the UK has their own system that's separate from the EU because they don't play well together.
Yes. Okay.
So you have to do another form for, you know, London. You can research all that stuff yourself, or you can call me and say, okay, I want to do this, this, and this. I can tell you that, hey, you need to do these steps before you go.
Right.
And you don't have to do that research.
Yeah, because you're the subject matter expert and you do this all the time, you may know a couple things that I wouldn't even know to look for. So I can see how your expertise could really shine in that particular instance. Now, you've done a great job of sharing with us the framework of what it is that you do. Who would you be looking to connect with, and who's a good fit for the services you provide?
I would say anybody. I'd love for anybody to travel. I think ideally, I love working with families that don't maybe know what they want to do to help them get there. I love that. A big push for us this year is groups.
Okay.
I've mentioned that if that's actually a trend in travel, people traveling in groups. It could be like pickleball groups. It could be poker groups. It could be whatever it is, gaming, to help them go and experience a trip together. Those groups are great. Now, the bottom line, our big focus for this year is we're going to be focusing on river cruises in Europe. In 2025, we're going to be leading a group. So that means my wife and I will actually be on the trip. In 2026, we're planning to go. I'm not sure which direction we're going to go yet. We're either going to go from the Czech Republic to Budapest, Hungary, or the other way around. So whichever direction, we got to choose that date. That'll be coming up. We'll start hitting some announcements on that late February, early March. And then we're planning on taking a group with us and going there. And we're building to that. We're planning on getting to a place where we're doing 1 to 2 of those groups ourselves every year, where we're taking groups of people, maybe first-time travelers, maybe it's a specific group, and going, hey, let's go check this out.
Yeah, that's a great description of who you're trying to get in front of, you know, a great ideal type of client. It seems like, you know, groups are going to be a good fit for you. So if you're a group out there, please follow with Larry so you guys can have a special trip. Now, we network, and we're out and about networking all the time. And we also are looking for referral partners. Who would you say is a good referral partner in your space?
Good referral partner, you know, pet sitters. You know, because, well, think about this for a minute. Especially when I'm booking travel, one of the biggest hangups, like, what am I going to do with my 50 cats?
Yes.
You laugh, but I do know a lady has like 11.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a hangup for her in travel. Or, you know, I need somebody to take care of my dog, or I need somebody to watch, or house sitting. Those are great partners for me. Financial advisors.
All right.
are great partners because they're sitting down looking at people's budgets. What do people, when they talk to them, what do you want to do with your money? Well, eventually I want to be able to travel. I want to take my grandkids on trips. I want to take my kids on trips.
Okay.
You know, so financial advisors, those that work in that space are great referral partners for us.
Okay.
I'd say those are probably the two most prominent.
Okay. Yeah, that shined a lot of light. I never thought about pet sitters, but you're correct. That is, someone has to take care of the pets while they're gone. And if you know them, hey, this person takes trips all the time, you know, maybe you should connect with them.
I would love to see somebody start, and you know, we talk about entrepreneurs. I'd like to see somebody start a house sitting.
Okay.
Because that's another thing that people that want to travel and take longer trips get concerned about is, hey, we'll we're in Georgia this week. Temperatures are below freezing consistently for a few days.
Yes.
What are people concerned about? Broken pipes and making sure the house is taken care of. Well, if you had the assurance that, hey, somebody's going to come by, check in my house, make sure drip faucets, whatever that may be, make sure my house is in order.
Okay.
Or a couple times a week. I think that could be a great entrepreneurial business for somebody that wanted to step in, maybe a part-time gig.
Thank you so much for creating a new business for me, Larry. Roderick's house sitting business. Definitely appreciate you sharing that. And I definitely appreciate you sharing about your journey and how you got to Dream Vacations. Also talking about the business, you know, who's a good referral for you, who's a good referral partner. In the next part, I want to talk about some of those skills that you have acquired and nurtured over your time in business, being a pastor. So if you don't mind sharing with the entrepreneurs that are watching the show some of those skills and how they can add them to their business and help them grow.
I think probably my best skill is I know people.
Okay.
And it is sitting down and being able to have a conversation with anyone.
Okay.
And like I said earlier, just walking away from a conversation as friend. Look, nobody can 100% gel with everybody. But even with our church, we do a food pantry that serves an area. We have a lot of people that come through from various backgrounds, people that have been living on the street, all the way up, and to even a lot of the people that serve at my pantry are business owners, president of KSU, different ones that come. And to have the ability to sit down with somebody that's running a multi-million-dollar business and have a great conversation and find common ground and be able to get to know who they are, and yet to be able to sit down and have lunch with somebody that's been living on the street and to hear their story and to treat them as if they're a valuable person.
Okay.
That, I think, is probably the greatest skill I've had over 30 years. And I wasn't always very good at it. My wife likes to say you weren't very compassionate. But to be able to, and that's a skill for networking. I was talking to other Dream Vacation franchise owners yesterday. Some of the newer ones were all in a group together. And I said, you know, the networking piece is 90 to 95% of our business.
Okay.
We don't get a lot from our internet. We don't get a lot from our social media posts. We get some. But I'm going to be honest, those that come in that way, very rarely, I'd say probably 20% of them do we actually get the business from. We get almost 100% of the business that we do from networking.
Okay.
Because there's relationship built, whether it's a referral passed
Yes.
from somebody else or it's a relationship that's been built. Those people will tend to book with us because that relationship's there. They know who we are. They might even be willing to spend $100 or $200 more to work with us than getting the bottom line, scraping the barrel
Yes.
in somebody else. And there's reasons for those lower prices. And we can always book those lower prices.
Yeah.
But there's reasons for them and reasons why we don't recommend them.
Yeah.
And so that relationship building, that ability to get yourself out there and network, which is why for the Kennesaw Business Association, I kind of took over their morning networking things. We're expanding that this year. So I lead the Wake Up KBA networking things. And I've gotten involved in our BNI group that we're in and Marietta Business Association. Those relationships that are built are the foundation. And my goal is to help those grow their business, and that will naturally help my business grow.
Yes. Makes a lot of sense. You hit on a key point with the relationships. Being in small business for all of these years now, that is the way that I have grown it. If I try to rely on, search engine optimization or, my social media posts only, there's no telling who I will get because those are digital transactions where when I go face to face and I meet people and shake hands, the relationships get deeper because you can actually see my face as we're talking. So it's a big portion of these entrepreneurs. They need to know that you got to get out here and build relationships. And I definitely appreciate you highlighting that skill because I'm sure it's going to be able to help them. Now, you told me a lot about your journeys, 30 years worth of things you've been doing, some of the successes. Now, let's just say that you have grown the associates. You have gotten those other foundational blocks put in your business where you can take some time away from it. What is it that Larry would do with his time if he had a little bit more of it and money wasn't an option?
Oh, that is great question. Time-wise, my wife and I have a pretty good list of places that we want to visit.
Okay.
Like Machu Picchu. I'm one that would step on every continent if I could. I'm one that would jump on a cruise ship for that, that 6-month to 9-month cruise. And just visit different places. That would be a big part of it. I absolutely love, and it's a big part of me now. I'm a mountain biker. I'd love to go mountain biking in New Zealand. I would love to go mountain biking through Wales and some different places through Innsbruck, Austria, just different places around the world. Love mountain biking, love hiking, kayaking. I would do all that anywhere that you could put me. Now, I would say that would probably be the biggest thing if I had money was no object, and just take my family and whoever could go with me and say, hey, let's go. Let's go find a place.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, I was thinking in my mind, are there trips to Antarctica? Are there?
There are expeditions that you can do. They tend to cost you a pretty good amount of money. But yeah, I mean, look, we even heard about the Titanic trips that you could take. The submarine trips. Remember, they had that issue just a couple years ago. I think you paid like some ridiculous $250,000, $300,000 to go take that trip.
Oh my goodness gracious!
But yeah, it's
all types of trips out there.
There are expeditions that you can take if you have the money. That you can pretty much go anywhere.
You got to invest to do those types of things. Those are extreme experiences right there. But that's good. That's good to know because I always thought about that. And I saw something the other day about traveling to Antarctica, and I just wanted to ask you since that's what you do.
It can be done.
Okay, awesome. Now, today you shared a lot. You shared about your journey, those skills, your business. If someone that's watching the show today wanted to get in contact with you, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Probably the easiest is our website. Which is thetravelhelpers.com. Got to put the S on the end, thetravelhelpers.com. That takes you to our website. We have our phone number, which is 687-881-9228. You can get us there. Any of those would probably be the easiest way to get in touch with us. And I'll tell you right now, this is the first quarter of the year. Our general headquarters funds a vacation giveaway every quarter. And right now it's $10,000 vacation giveaway.
Oh, nice.
Now, put you on our mailing list, put you on that site, but you go to our website, there is a thing there, and you can re-up every quarter. So like this quarter's $10,000 vacation. First quarter is always $10,000.
Yes.
Then there'll be a 7-day luxury cruise somewhere. There'll be 7 days to a resort another quarter. But every quarter you can re-enter your name in and get in the hat. They do give them away. We always post it on our social media who actually wins those. It's not just a fishing expedition, but they do actually give those away.
So I'm gonna go on there. I'll make sure to put mine in for sure. $10,000. I'm sure that's gonna be a nice vacation there.
You can do a lot with $10,000.
Yes. And then with your expertise, you would stretch it out, so it'd be a fabulous trip. Now, we'll definitely appreciate you sharing that because we want the people to get in contact with you. You're such a great person, people first, and you provide an excellent service. So thanks for sharing that contact information. And for us, we appreciate you coming on and sharing today because you peel back a few layers of the onion as far as with your business. I didn't know you were a pastor. This whole time I've known you for a while. I didn't know that part. And we appreciate that. And we always honor our guest by giving them the last word. So please take a look at the camera over here and tell the people something good.
Man, I would just say this. don't be afraid to try something you've never done, and you can have an amazing experience, whether it's travel, whether it's starting a new business, whether it's making a new friendship. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you so much for coming on today, Larry. Truly do appreciate you coming by and sharing today.
Thank you.
And to everyone that is watching, be kind and thanks.